Welcome back to the Ark Survival Guide. Today we are going to teach you everything you need to know to find, tame, and ride a Tropeognathus, which is the brand new flyer on Ark. Now first of all, it's really hard to even find a Tropeognathus, and I'm going to show you exactly where a Tropeo will spawn on the Crystal Isles map, and I'll show you some of the best places to tame them. I will give you step-by-step instructions on how to build the easiest and most effective Tropeognathus trap. If you follow this guide, your Tropeo tame should go very smoothly and easily, and this will take half the materials of other Tropeo taming techniques that I've seen. I will also show you a crazy easy method to tame a Tropeognathus using very simple wooden structures that you can easily build out in the field if you happen to spot a wild Tropeo away from your base. And then I'll show you exactly how to feed and tame the Tropeo once you have it trapped, and then we'll go over a lot of the abilities the Tropeo has, including how to use a Tropeognathus as an industrial grinder to convert your useless drops that you pick up into really helpful materials. And then we're going to show you how to use the jet engine saddle to fly on a Tropeognathus, and by the time you're finished watching this guide, you will be an ace Tropeo pilot ruling the skies of your server. Now this is a pretty long guide, so if you want to skip to one section, check the progress bar in the bottom. We should have that separated into chapters, or the description will have some timestamps where you can jump around the video to the parts you're most interested in. But I highly recommend watching the whole guide because it is loaded with crazy helpful information, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. And if this guide helps you, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have so many helpful guides coming out very soon, and I'm actually working on more as we speak. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, if we want to tame a Tropeognathus, the first thing we need to do is actually find one. Now, I've heard Tropeos are now spawning on Xbox One and PS4 on some of the other maps, including the Island, Ragnarok, Valguero, all that good stuff. But I have not confirmed that 100%, so please let me know in the comments if you guys have seen one and tamed one on your own console maps. But if you're on the Crystal Isles map, which 100% definitely has Tropeognathus, these are the regions where those are actually spawning right now, according to Ark Wiki. Now, this could be changed at some point, but the main place that I look for Tropeognathus is on the southwest side of the map, and this is in the beach area. This is actually a very safe biome compared to any of the other biomes. Now, you can also find Tropeos around the volcano and in the southeastern forest, but there's going to be a lot more dangerous stuff to deal with, so I much prefer the southwestern side for actually taming a Tropeognathus. Now, Tropeognathus are actually a very rare spawn, probably about as common as Tapeharas are on most of the common maps. So even if you search all over the regions where Tropeos can spawn, that doesn't mean there will be any nearby. I've also noticed sometimes you find them on the ground, sometimes you find them soaring so high up you can barely even see them, so keep an eye out for that. They fly very similarly to the Tapeharas. Kind of a common theme going here, they're very similar to Tapeharas. Now here's a location where I've seen a Tropeognathus myself, and I've actually got another spot right by my favorite starting base location on the Crystal Isles. By the way, if you missed that, I have a whole guide on why this mountain is amazing for starting players on Crystal Isles, and how to get here really easily when you first start out your adventure, so check that out. But this is actually a great place to keep an eye out for Tropeognathus spawns too, which will eventually happen most likely if you're living up here. Now, because Tropeognathus are pretty rare to find in the wild, you want to really make sure you tame one when you try to tame it, and I'll show you guys some really effective trapping techniques which will make it really easy to tame a Tropeognathus once you actually find it. So I found a Tropeo somewhere nearby. I think he's milling around up there in the sky. We are actually up here on this mountain. It's a really great plateau to live in. Nothing dangerous to bother us up here. And I found a really nice flat area to build this on. So we're going to start with my first trap, which is the most surefire way to tame the Tropeo. And this will be the easiest way to get it trapped. We're going to start by laying a large stone gateway, And then I'm going to use this foundation just to measure the distance. So I've put that right on the edge of that first gateway, and we'll go ahead and put the door on while we're at it. Now, we want to make sure there is just enough space between these gateways so that there's plenty of room to fit the Tropeo inside, but we don't want there to be so much room that it can get out. So I'm going to line up the edge of this gateway right with the edge of this stone foundation. So right about here, and then we'll place that down, and we'll go ahead and pick up this stone foundation, just save some materials. So as you can see here, it's just wide enough for me to walk through comfortably, but not so wide that, I've got more than a foundation's worth space next to it. So we're going to add this foundation right in the middle of this, and as you can see, I'm putting it slightly through the gate, so it's pushing just about to the edge, the back edge of that gateway. And from here, I'm going to add some stone double door frames. And you can see here, we have just about the same distance. It's not quite one foundation wide, and that's going to make it so there's enough room to fit the Tropeo in here, but he's not going to have enough room to escape. And I went ahead and flipped that last double door frame just to get it a little closer to the top there. Should be totally fine what we've got. So now we've got just enough space to trap this Tropeo inside here. I can never figure out these hinges. They're just kind of crazy to me. And we should be able to get this guy to go right inside. He's got plenty of space to get in on the front end. And I'm actually going to add basically a little funnel on the end to make sure it's easier to get him inside. Now you can technically squeeze him in without doing this, it's no problem, but I'm just going to make it a little easier on myself. Now I'm going to use thatch door frames because they're super cheap materials and he's not going to be attacking any of this stuff. You can actually technically make this whole trap out of wood and it'll work just fine, but sometimes taming a Tropeo can take hours, so I'm actually going to feel a lot better having a stone structure in place just because there's no way he can actually break it. So I always have trouble with these little foundations. These are just fence foundations, and there we go. That should line up just about right. So we're putting these at an angle leading into the trap, and that's just going to kind of make a funnel, which is going to make it easier to get him to squeeze in here, even if we're not perfectly accurate. Now the great thing about having those double door frames is it's just enough space my Pteranodon can fly through, but it's not so much space the Tropeo can get out. So this is our finished product. This is actually a really good trap for this, and it's actually going to be way cheaper than any other trap I've seen for how to catch a Tropeognathus. Now before we head out to find the Tropeo, I'm going to make sure I've got a few bolas, regular bolas, in my hand, and a Pteranodon, which is pretty fast, has a little bit of stamina, so he can outrun the Tropeo at a sprint, and I've also made sure to set my Pteranodon on passive so he doesn't fight the Tropeo himself. So now that we're all ready, let's go find this Tropeognathus and see if we can tame it. Alright, so now that we have our simple Tropeognathus trap set up, we're going to see if we can actually do a very easy Tropeo tame. So somewhere around here, there is a Tropeognathus just floating around, and hopefully, oh, there he is, I see him in the distance on the ground. They noodle around in the air really high up, or sometimes they just waddle on the ground. You never really know where the Tropeo is going to be, but I did spot him earlier, and he's just been kind of hanging around this area. So here's the coordinates and GPS. Just in case you guys want to check out this area. It's actually a really great place to find Tropeos and crystal wyverns. A lot of good stuff spawns out here. A lot of dangerous stuff too. But we're going to fly up after we've recovered all of our stamina, and we're just going to give it a nice little love peck on the back. It's a lot easier if we peck its back and then fly away, because then it's less likely to bite us. So I'm going to get as high as I can and try to get right about the same altitude as my trap, and then we're going to try to make this a very straight line for him to go straight into the trap. We want to make sure we don't get too far ahead of him, and also don't let him catch up either. So this should be a pretty straight shot, and I'm going to let him catch me and just land right outside of his reach. Woo, okay, that was close. So he is now trying to eat me, and I'm going to hit him with a bola, and that's actually going to incapacitate him for 30 seconds. So we'll just close this door behind him, and now we have our Tropeognathus totally trapped. So believe it or not, the regular regular bolas actually can trap them for 30 seconds. You don't have to use a chain bola to trap them, but you have to use a chain bola to feed them. They will not eat with a regular bola. So now that we've got this guy successfully trapped, he's going to keep trying to fly towards us and eat us for a while, and then he'll switch to trying to run away. And about every 30 seconds or so, the Tropeo will just switch between trying to kill us and trying to run away, so it's way easier if we've just got him stuck in a trap. And since a Tropeo tame can take like an hour or two, I really want to make sure he doesn't escape during the process. But this simple Tropeo trap will hold him tight and he'll be very secure for the whole taming process. It's also very open, so it's easy to hit him with a chain bola. Speaking of which, now that we have this Tropeognathus securely trapped, the next step is to actually hit it with a chain bola so we can do a passive tame. It's kind of crazy, but we'll show you all about that in the next section. Now technically we could leave him here for a long time while we get all the materials ready for taming him, but once we start the taming process, it's going to be a long process. And we'll show you how to actually feed him next. Alright, so we are back here next to our new friend, and I've got a preserving bin set up with a lot of new tasty treats that he's going to totally love, and I'm going to show you the taming effectiveness of some different foods we can feed the Tropeo. We'll show you all the different foods he will eat and how effective those are. But before we can do anything, I need to place down a ballista turret, and then we're actually going to load up some chain bolas into it. Now, I'm not a very good shot yet, because I don't do this very often, so we'll try that. Okay, great, we nailed it. So we are right in front of this guy, so I better not miss. Now, after we hit it with a chain bola, you'll see it says place food in inventory, and now we can actually pull out some food. Now, I'm going to start with simple meats for him. A Tropeognathus will actually eat raw meat or raw fish meat. He'll go either way, and he seems just as happy with both of them. But now that I've got that in the last slot of my inventory, I can run up and press E to feed it to him, and he'll eat just a little bit and get just a tiny bit of taming. Now, we can actually feed him multiple times with each chain bola. See how it says wait until it's hungry again? But he is already hungry again, so we can feed him a little bit of fish meat. Now he's mad again, and now he's going to try to kill us. He is a very, very moody tame. Now, as you can see here, I hit him again with a chain bola, but he's not going anywhere because he's still on a cooldown. There's about a 10-second cooldown between shots, and you cannot hit him again with a bola. So let me see if I can actually hit this guy. I'm too used to aiming too far away. And now he's incapacitated again, so we've got another 30 seconds to feed him. And there we go, I just fed him some fish meat. Now if you time it right, you can get 2 small meats into his inventory at once. But let me pull out some other foods for him, and we're going to have to wait until he's ready to eat again. We might actually have time to get another food onto his inventory with this one chain bola. But as you can see, yep, there we go. Okay, so I went ahead and fed him 1 raw prime meat, and you can see he got a lot more taming from that. But here's the kicker. He is now like 27% tamed. This is only a level 4. This is going to be a very long process. And every time you feed him prime meat, he takes a lot longer to be ready to eat again. I want to say like 15-20 minutes at least before we can feed him another prime meat. So bear that in mind. This is going to be a long process, and you're going to need to hang out with him for probably like an hour for a higher level Tropeo if you're not taming him with kibble. Now, kibble would put this guy over 50% tamed in 1 kibble, but as you can see here, it's just going to take a long time for him to tame up, and it's going to take a long time for him to get hungry again. Now, when he's running away, we can actually check to see if he's hungry again, and we're going to just come back as soon as he's hungry, and we'll show you the next step. So we're back. It's like 20 or 30 minutes later, and it took a long time for him to get hungry again, but I'm giving him some space so he'll run away again, and now I can check to see if he's hungry. And if you look closely above his text, it says Tropeognathus does not want to be tamed right now. That means he's ready to be tamed. So we're going to hit him with a chain bola, and because he's now hungry again, once we've got him bolaed again, he actually can be fed food. So it says put food in the last slot of his inventory, and we're going to do that with fish meat this time. This is prime fish meat, and as you can see here, it gets him tamed just about the same effectiveness as prime regular meat. So it's nice to know that he's a little bit more open to both cuisines, but we're going to have to come back in another 20 or 30 minutes when he's ready to eat again, and we'll show you some kibble. And now it's nighttime. We've been waiting forever for this guy. And the other thing about it is you really have to stay on top of this, because if you don't feed him when he's ready to feed, then his taming bar is actually going to steadily go back down. So you really want to get this as quickly as possible. Now that was mutton, and as you can see, that actually feeds him a lot better. And you can tame him much more quickly with mutton if you can get your hands on it. And by the time you can make this ballista turret and actually tame a Tropeo, you're probably going to be able to get your hands on some mutton. But skipping ahead again, I'm going to show you how he does with exceptional kibble. Now, there are actually two kibbles that work with him, exceptional or extraordinary, but right now we're going to show you exceptional because that's the lower level kibble that works really well for him. And as you can see there, it tamed him all the rest of the way. Now this is a level 4 Tropeognathus, keep that in mind. If you want to tame a high level Tropeo and you want to sleep that night, I would highly recommend just going straight for exceptional or extraordinary kibble, and don't even bother trying to tame them unless you've got all of that, because it is just such a long process. I can't even imagine taming a high level Tropeo with just even prime meat. I don't think it's even going to be possible to tame a high level Tropeo with regular meat. But hey, check it out, we finally got this guy. We waited for him to have his bola run out, and now we can finally ride our Tropeognathus. Now, you might notice I don't have a saddle, and that's because you can ride a Tropeo without a saddle. But honestly, what's the point? They're actually pretty slow without their jetpack saddle. So I'm going to show you how to fly with the Tropeognathus without saddle and with the jetpack saddle. We'll show you all the techniques and moves a Tropeognathus can do, give you a little bit of combat training and all that good stuff. But first, let me show you one more trick you can do to tame a Tropeognathus using just some wooden pillars and some easy stuff even out in the field. Now, this trick for taming a Tropeognathus is actually very easy. You need a very small amount of materials. We can actually do this using wood, and I found this Tropeo right around here, and he's actually flying pretty low to the ground. If he was flying higher, I could actually shoot him with a crossbow and bring him down, but there we go. Now, this trick is very quick and easy, but it is very dangerous. So I'm going to hit him with a bola, and now I've got some wooden foundations. I'm going to put this as close to him as possible without him obstructing it. And now we're going to put a wooden door frame. Whoops, I messed that up, but no time to correct it. I'm going to put 2 wooden door frames high and 1 wooden ceiling hanging over his head. And now here's the tricky part. We need wooden pillars on all sides. We need 1 on the front, 1 on the back, and 2 on his sides. It's really important to get those 2 on the sides, otherwise he will slip right out. And now we need to make all those pillars 2 high. 1 high might technically work, but I'm going to try to get the second one. And when we hit him with a regular bola, we only have 30 seconds to trap him, so we got to make sure we do this really fast. Now he is breaking the wood if we're close by because he keeps trying to bite us, but as soon as we back away, he stops attacking and he's just trying to fly straight towards us. Now in a minute he's going to turn around, there we go, and start trying to get away from us. So, you know, he's just going to keep doing his same thing, but he does seem to be pretty well trapped. I'm going to see if I can get further away so he'll stop chasing me. And it's actually pretty hard to lose the aggro of a Tropeognathus, but keep in mind this trick is quick and easy, but if you mess up this Tropeo trap, or you take even a second or two too long to drop those pillars, or if there's too much space between the pillars, it's just going to fly away, and then it's going to eat you. It might pick you up and carry you off, and it's just going to get ugly really fast. So this is not necessarily my recommendation to try to trap a Tropeognathus like this, but this is certainly the easiest way to trap it. So from here, we can just build ourselves a ballista, come back later. It might not not be a bad idea to add one more wooden pillar just to make sure he's really well trapped. But we'll be back with some food, we'll knock him out with a bola, and we'll just tame him up slowly at our leisure. And as long as there's no dangerous dinos around here, we should also have a pretty easy time at this point. But once again, this is mostly for if you're low on materials or if you happen to find a Tropeo pretty far out in the wild and you don't have time or the energy to make a trap that's going to be a much better trap. But you can actually get a Tropeo to chase you pretty far on a Pteranodon, and if you hit it with a bola and fly far enough away, it will lose aggro and just start floating around in the air. You can recharge your stamina and pick it back up, and so you can get them to chase you pretty far across the map. But anyway, now that you know two good techniques for how to trap a Tropeognathus very easily, now I'm going to give you some flight training for how to use a Tropeognathus and all of its cool abilities. So now that we've showed you how to tame and trap a Tropeognathus, let's show you how to ride it. Now you don't actually need a saddle to ride a Tropeo, but it's very limited in its abilities without that saddle active. But we could still fly pretty normally, and I'm actually sprinting right now. It's got a very lame sprint without that saddle, but it's very maneuverable, just like a Tapehara. And it has a very weak left-click bite attack, which is similar to the Tapehara, hardly worth using, but its right-click is actually pretty cool. You can pick up very small dinos and players with its right click attack, and you can actually bite them with the left click and do some pretty good damage. But the best part is it tears up their armor for enemy players, so it's actually a great PvP technique. Now, a really good cheesing PvP technique is this one, which you can use to actually blast people and dinos off of cliffs. It only works on smaller stuff, smaller than a parasaur, but it's pretty fun nonetheless. And if you just like the idea of cheesing people, you can fly up to your target and double tap the jump button and you'll make a huge gust of wind, and as long as the target is right in front of you, it will actually blast that target really far and you can send things flying right off of cliffs, which is going to be really fun for you PvP players. Now the Tropeo is actually just as happy eating fish meat as it is regular meat, so that's actually kind of a nice perk. You can feed it both of those, but it has another ability that I only recently discovered, and I love this. The Tropeognathus is actually a portable industrial grinder. Now I'm going to put this saddle into its inventory, and let's say we just pick this up in a drop and we don't actually need that, like it's a saddle for a dino we don't have. If we select it and then this button right down here says grind, it'll just appear if it's selected. Now some of these will show grayed out grind, which means it can't actually grind those things, but if I select a saddle and I hit the grind button, he tears it down into its base components. From what I can tell, you get about 15% of the base components that are required for that saddle. But check that out, I just got some really good materials from grinding up that saddle, and if you're picking up a lot of stuff in your loot drops that you're never going to use because you don't have those dinos, it's actually going to get you a lot of really good materials by grinding up those extra loot drops that you find. So once we hit level 65, we can unlock the engram for the Tropeognathus saddle, which takes a pretty considerable amount of materials to craft. It'll definitely take some work to build your jet engine saddle, but I tell you what, it is going to be so worth it. So we'll go ahead and equip that Tropeo saddle, and now he is a legitimate fighter jet. So from here, I'm going to add some gasoline into his inventory because he uses that as jet fuel, and then I'll load some regular grenades into his inventory because that is what he uses for ammunition for his grenade launcher. So you can see down here on the bottom of the screen, it shows how many grenades and how much gasoline we have, and once that runs out, you'll see that reaches 0, and then he cannot use his jet engine anymore. Now the grenades we can fly around just fine without any ammo, but we won't be able to fire those. Now to activate his jet, we're going to hit the control button, and once he is in jet mode and the engine is on, his turret becomes becomes active too. So there's a lot of abilities that unlocks. Now we can hold down shift to sprint, and he's going to go a lot faster, but that does use stamina just like when he's normally flying. Now he actually can go a very long time without running out of stamina, and he also has a really cool dive ability, very much like a snow owl or griffin, but it doesn't give you as much of a speed boost like those guys. Now another cool thing is we actually have this rocket launcher equipped, and as long as we've got ammunition, we can fire and blow stuff up with it, which is pretty cool. So let's see if we can find a good target to shoot down. Here we go. And we're just going to do a little bombing run on this little Spino here, who seems to know what's up because he is getting out of the way. Looks like he's just trying to beat something up. He's just being a jerk, but we will definitely take him down. Now you'll notice some of these shots do a little bit more damage, and that's because if you hit something directly, it does a lot more damage. Now you want to aim a little bit ahead of where your dino is going, so it's going to take some practice to get used to hitting things, but check it out. It does some pretty serious damage, and we can move really quickly. Now in order to deactivate the jets, we're going to hit Control again. And I believe on PS4, activating and deactivating the jet is clicking and then holding down on the right stick, the right control stick, and probably Xbox One is about the same if you guys get Tropeognathus there. Now you'll notice I am totally out of stamina, so I'm going to go ahead and rest and land, and you cannot land with the jet engine still active. Now some people were saying they had some kind of a glitch where they couldn't turn off the jet engine. If that happens, just open up the dino's inventory and take all the gasoline out of its inventory, and that will immediately turn off the jets. So now let me show you my favorite maneuver. Check that out. Now on PC, we're going to press the C key to do this crazy flip. I'm not 100% sure what it is on PS4 and Xbox, but please let me know in the comments if you guys happen to know. And I think if you click down on the right stick, that might do that maneuver. We'll have to find out. But yeah, check that out. We can do some awesome aerial techniques, and that's a really good way to get right out of the way if something's attacking you. Now, if we're sprinting, we're going to use gasoline about twice as fast, so we use about 1 can per 30 seconds when we're not sprinting, and we lose hardly any stamina. But if we're sprinting, we use about 1 can every 15 seconds, and our stamina runs out relatively fast. Now, if you're not sprinting, you can actually fly across most of the map in one time with the Tropeo, which is pretty amazing. Now, I'm going to show you another cool technique as soon as I can find a Pteranodon that I can draft, and we'll show you how to get a cool aerial boost when you're drafting things. Now another cool ability with the Tropeo is you can actually draft other flyers, so as long as your jet engine is turned on, all the flyers around you will have this little kind of wind looking thing coming out from behind them. And that's actually a boost ring, kind of like, think of a racing game like Mario Kart or something where you fly through a ring and get a boost. That's basically what's happening, is you can draft another flyer and get a pretty good boost. Now on the bottom right of my screen, you'll notice there's a little icon with a wing and green arrows, and if I fly behind a dino, that will pop up. And then I can press the space button or jump button to get a pretty good boost, which actually shoots me forward a little bit without using extra gas or stamina. So that's just another nice little technique that the Tropeos have, which will help you in aerial combat mostly. So that's basically everything you need to know to find, tame, trap, and fly your brand new Tropeognathus. Now, this should help you totally dominate the skies, and you'll have a lot of fun shooting down all those helpless dinos on the ground, too. Now, you are going to go through a lot of gasoline with your Tropeognathus, and I actually have a great spot of where to find tons of gasoline on the Crystal Isles map. So if you want to see where that is, check out my guide on the 15 best base locations on the Crystal Isles map, and the very last base location is actually an outpost where there is stupid amounts of oil, like oil boulders everywhere, and that'll basically give you all the gasoline you need. So be sure to check out that video, check the link in the description, and I'll try to put a card on the top right of the screen where you can click to see that. It's going to be a really helpful guide, and even though it's based on the mod version, almost all the base locations are exactly the same with the official Crystal Isles episode's release. Now, if you enjoyed this video or it was at all helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it on social media, and help other people find this information too, because I think it's going to save a lot of people a lot of trouble if they use some of these helpful tips and tricks for Tropeognathus. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and ring that bell to enable all notifications, because we have so many more helpful videos on the Crystal Isles map that will be coming your way, and you don't want to miss out on any of that. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video, which will be coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. That helps us so much. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to enable all notifications, because we have lots of awesome new Ark videos and live streams coming soon, and you won't want to miss any of them. You can do so many awesome things in Ark, but it is really hard to figure out on your own. Check out the links at the end of this video to browse our huge library of fun, clean, and helpful Ark guides, tips, tricks, live streams, and Let's Plays. If you would like to earn awesome rewards while supporting this channel, click the join button or link next to the subscribe button to learn more about our new channel memberships. You can also join our awesome Discord community at the link in the description of this video or on top of the channel homepage. And if you want to see my wife and I play lots of other fun video games together, visit our other YouTube channel, The Console Co-op Couple, using the link in the video description or in the channel homepage. And now I want to give a shout out to some of the biggest supporters of this channel: Sabo0283, Cole Parmenter, Wolfgirl Be Like, Austin Nagel, Kelly Razjak, Black Silver Ride, and Emmy Fisher. You guys are all awesome, and we so appreciate your support. Now, if you'd like to be a monthly supporter and get a shout out at the end of our videos, check out the join button next to the subscribe button for more information about that. And for everyone else, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.